Hey, Tabasco going gets CAD. We got a tier list video, another Deadlock oriented video. You guys see me play it in my background and shit. And I feel like, you know what? I'm just going to do a tier list on every single character in Deadlock, ranked by how fun they are. I may not be an Eternus 6 player, so I don't know the meta, but I do know when a character is fun or not. And you might be thinking, oh, Ked, fun is subjective. Okay. Here's what I think fun is, all right? You got to have multiple builds. So it can't just be like one thing. And by the way, shout out Pirate Software. This is who I get my inspiration from. You got to have multiple builds, right? You can't just have one guy do one thing and rely on that one thing. You know, it's kind of boring once you start doing that. It's got to nuke the shit out of somebody. You know, I love it whenever I'm playing with a character and I just 100-0 somebody and just give them the pain. You got to have outplay potential. So like anything where it's like, oh, I'm going to do this to you. Uno reverse card. Fuck you. I win. You got to have that outplay potential. Some 1v11, you know, you got to have the ability to sort of not depend on other people to have a good time or be dependent on certain things. You got to consistently have a good time on this character. Which also means always viable, right? You got to always be viable at any stage of the game. You know, oh, I'm down 5k souls. Oh, I get this one power spike and I'm back online, bitches. You know, you gotta always have some sort of utility. You could be a support, you could be a carry, whatever it may be. And also, I like harder characters. Generally speaking, you'll see that this is actually dependent on certain things. Just because a character's hard doesn't mean they're fun, but when they have a higher skill ceiling, then you could start to really express yourself and have some fun with it, you know? Like, that's what I think makes a character fun, you know? Not just nuking everyone and winning the game. I'm not, you know, a sore loser, but at the same time, if I'm just winning by farming and then closing out the game, that's not fun for me. You know, I'll just play League of Legends or some shit like that. Not Deadlock. This game has a lot of potential to be fun. So, this is my opinion, by the way. I know I'm going to piss some people off. I've made some rankings, and I see that certain things are going to piss some people off. But, with that said, let's start with the most boring character in the game. Victor. I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, but Ked, we pull up the chart again. You literally said 1v11. Victor is like the 1v11 character. Okay, but how does he get there? Right? He gets there by farming till 40k, building all this health and all this spirit so that he just outlives you. His ult is a passive, which should just tell you right away that this guy's no fucking fun. And his whole kit centers around getting all your stink gas and running into people. I don't find Victor to be a very intriguing character. Yes, there's some characters I haven't played yet. This is one of them. And you might be thinking, oh, well, if you've never tried it, then like your whole opinion's negated. Listen, kid. I'm not going to play a game of Victor to tell you that he's boring as shit. I got other people to tell me that for me. Speaking of boring and controversial, next time we got Wraith. I hear Metro just like screaming at his screen like, what? Why is this the thing? Wraith is awesome. No, Wraith is literally just shooting the gun. All right, there's no outplay potential. Maybe you press your 4 and, oh my god, that's cool. You can roach out with your 2. Your 3 gives you extended fire rate. I guess that's cool. You know, that's just healing tempo without the healing. And then your 1 is like a card that just aimbots. I don't think there's that much skill that goes into playing Wraith outside of your general macro skills. And everything just centers around her cool-ass gun, which I'll admit is pretty cool. By the way, this isn't based off design. Wraith would be much higher if it was based off design. But generally, it's just, I'm shooting a gun. Oh, I got a card. Here's a card. Now I'm going to keep shooting my gun. Warden's up next. Warden is so boring to me because he's just throw a grenade, cage someone, like get him slow, get him caged, press 4, win the fight. I don't think there's insane outplay potential with Warden. He has a shield as well. That's just okay. Cool. I don't know. I never found playing Warden to be that exciting or fun. Even Warden just seems boring, you know? Like in the lore, I guess it's like, oh, I mean, he's been trained since birth to stop the patrons. Lame. I think this guy's a total square. But yeah, I see I'm going to piss some people off because some people are going to tell me, oh, well, doesn't Metro play both these characters? Like, I'm not dissing Metro, okay? I don't hate Metro. I was watching a stream the other day and I was like flaming up a little bit, but that's how it goes. I don't hate Metro though. We got Vindicta. I think that the same sort of thing, it's like you fly around, you snipe people, you can like throw a little trap and, keep them stuck to an area. But other than that, like, okay, I think the whole flying and the extra souls per kill, that's kind of cool when you snipe someone. Other than that, I don't find Vindicta to be that exciting. So people go, oh my God, but the character model, it's so hard to play Vindicta one-handed. Buddy, if you just like stop gooning and play with two hands, Vindicta's not that hard. And I don't really find that kit to be exciting anyways. Yo, next up, we got Grey Talon. Wait, do I have Grey Talon? No. Yeah, fuck it. We'll put Grey Talon here. I don't find Grey Talon to be that exciting. I think he's the most boring spirit heavy character. I guess it's cool in lane, but like other than that, it's not really that exciting. The only thing cool to me is the ult, where you could just like fly this owl around and just, hey buddy, Joe Biden. You're just calling up airstrikes and shit. That's cool, but it only comes up every minute or so. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna be wrong on Grey Talon, because when I think about it, like, yeah, I have to place Grey Talon here, but low key, I see the fun potential in Grey Talon. It's one of those things where it's like maybe I need to give Grey Talon a third chance. Next up, we got Mirage. Mirage has the nuking ability I was talking about earlier, but outside of that, it's like you shoot your gun, your ult, you can teleport somewhere else to go shoot your gun. Yeah, you build scarabs and you have a passive. Generally, the passive characters are more boring to me. There's not as much outplay potential. But I guess that's just how the story goes, But yeah, I don't really like Mirage. But yeah, that's it. Almost it for D tier. We got one more. We got Paige. I don't find Paige fun. Some people are like, oh my God. But like, I love Paige, Paige, having a Paige on my team is so good. Look, it's annoying as shit to play against Paige, and then it's annoying as shit to play Paige. Because Paige, you build two things. You build support or you build gun. I think all gun builds are kind of boring, with a couple of exceptions. But really, it's just like, oh my God, look at me play Paige support. Then you give someone shield, and you're kind of just being, someone's cuck. It's fun to have a Paige on your team. It's not fun to play Paige, and it's really not fun to play against a Paige. That's why she's in D tier. It's nothing about her kit really screams at me that this is someone that's fun. You have I guess you have an AoE stun. Your ult is really fucking strong. But other than that, like, I don't really think Paige is all that in a bag of chips, I think she's boring as shit, and that's why she's in the D tier. That's it for D tier, really. And we're going to go off on C tier real quick, starting with Paradox. Oh, not Doorman. Shit. Doorman's going to piss some people off where I put him, but Paradox. Yeah, same sort of thing. It's just, I think there's some outplay potential that's pretty cool on Paradox, but nothing about Paradox screams one-shot except for the kinetic carbine, which I guess is pretty cool. I mean, maybe I need to watch more like Mikhail's or whatever his name is, but I never found Paradox to be all too exciting. The kinetic carbine's cool, the wall's cool, the swap is a little lame. The kinetic carbine, whatever. I don't see as much 1v11 potential with Paradox as I do the other characters. There's a lot of support-based things on Paradox that just make it not as fun for me. Like, whenever I play Paradox, I never have a good time. I don't know why. The ingredients are there, I just don't have fun playing Paradox. I know that's going to be my big cope for every character, but yeah. Next up, we got Dynamo. Low-key, Dynamo's kind of fun, but with how he's been feeling lately, I just feel like it's no bueno. You got his like wave gun maneuver thing. That's pretty cool. You got his teleport, which has some outplay potential. His healing aura. His ult is the best in the game. And I know that some people will tell me that, oh, well, actually, a good 7 ult will beat anything. No, Dynamo's ult is the big turning point in any fight. I think Dynamo is really fun when you get that sort of shit going. But his ult does take like 3 years to load. And unless you're building like a Spirit Dynamo with the waves and stuff like that, I don't find him to be particularly fun. Like, I had some fun playing it, but It wasn't like crazy. Moving on. This one's gonna piss some people off. We got Billy. I don't find Billy that fun. Like, again, one of those things where I see all the ingredients together. You know, he's a melee character. He's the best melee character, arguably. You know, he gets in there and he scraps, and you take him and puts him and anyone else in the room, and Billy comes out alive. His voice lines are fun, but I just don't find it all that exciting. You know, outside of the whole melee mechanics, like, and then getting parried is just the most tilting thing on the planet. You know, but he has the 1v11 potential. He is maybe the best jungler in the game. Again, on paper, he would be really fun if you fuck with his game. On paper, he's really fun, but you just got to really be in the zone to play Billy. I never really had that much fun when I played Billy, but he has the potential to be fun. Which is the thing about C tier. D tier, I think it's always going to be boring. Maybe except Grey Talon, but the rest of D tier, I think it's just boring. C tier, it's like, these can be fun, but you got to have the right circumstances for that. And next up, we got 7. I never found 7 to be that fun. Some people, like Andrew Chicken, had 7 like as the third most fun character in the game, which is beyond me. I never found 7 to be that fun. Yes, he has the hyper carry potential. Yes, he can farm like crazy. Yes, he could do high damage if he really wants to. He has a stun that's really strong. His 3 is just shocking everything, you know? That's cool and all. But again, I think it just settles down to the fact that he's one of those late game hyper carries like Wraith or Haze, which we'll talk about soon, where it's like, okay, it's fun when you're like 50 minutes in and just destroying everyone. However, early on in the game, it's like, okay, I'm not having that much fun playing 7. You know, there's nothing about his kit that screams crazy outplay potential. Outside of maybe his stun and ball or his ult. His ult can be kind of funny where you're just everyone's in the middle of a team fight. He just goes apotheosis and just molests the whole lobby. Outside of that, I don't find it to be particularly fun. Speaking of, we got Haze. Haze, again, I don't think the outplay potential is like that crazy, but if you catch someone lacking, you throw a little sleep dagger, you press 4, and that's GG's. You know, I mean, obviously they gotta if they don't have warp stone or metal skin or return fire. But hey, I mean, I play in low enough elos where that's never a problem. So you could just go in and just nuke somebody to death or multiple people. She has the 1v11 carry potential. You know, she has the assassin builds that are cool. But it just settles down to gun heroes. You know what I mean? Eventually, Haze just boils down to holding down mouse 1 and just ending fights. It's not something that I enjoy. I'm more of a spirit hero guy, if you couldn't tell. There are some exceptions, but I don't really find Haze to be, you know, insanely fun outside of like the assassination stuff. And then finally, to wrap up C tier, we got Drifter. Drifter, again, I think is one of those characters where on paper it would be fucking fun. Like, he's got the stacks, he's got the ult, his whole thing about like killing isolated people. I think that does the assassinations better than Haze. However, in practice, you know, Drifter, I don't know if you guys noticed, like, he's kind of ass. And unfortunately, when you're playing with someone that is as ass as Drifter, it's like, well, you know, on paper this would be fun, but really it's not. And especially when everyone groups together, you can't really get the Drifter experience that you want to have. And because so much of him relies on so many conditionals, it's one of those things where he can be fun, like the rest of the people in C tier, but it's dependent on things, you know? And that's what's going to wrap up C tier. We're going up to B tier now, so these are characters that, you know, they can be fun. I don't find them too fun. Like, I'm not going to pick them up and play them, but, you know, like, they're more consistently fun than the C tier. And starting off, we got Ivy. Ivy is just okay. Like, I'm playing Ivy, you know, gun Ivy, spirit Ivy, support Ivy, whatever it may be. You know, there's more fun to be had with Ivy, especially the ult where you can just fly around like a helicopter type shit, you know, just going around nuking people, picking up people and testing out things. Like, it's fun to play Ivy when you're doing that. The stone form has some outplay potential. You know, you can obviously heal your teammates, which is pretty cool. The Katsu bomb is good for wave clear. The gun feels pretty good. No, I don't find Ivy to be like as fun as the other heroes, but I mean Ivy's okay. And then we got Viper. I think. Oh, sorry, we got Viper. I think Viper's slide mechanic is what makes it fun. Everything else is like, but the slide mechanic's pretty cool. You get like extra stamina, and the sliding is awesome. I don't know. I've had some games with Viper where like the sliding is what makes it just so much more awesome than anything else. And so because of that, I gotta have her here. But again, same thing as Ivy. It's fun, but the other characters are just more fun. Also, I've never tried Spirit Ivy, so maybe Spirit Viper. So maybe that's it too. We got Lady Geist. Again, I think that Lady Geist's outplay potential is, I think, the best in the game. You know, her ult just life swaps with you because why not? She has insane life steal. She has a grenade, which can also do lingering damage. You know, Mystic Regeneration's fun. The only thing that really stops me from placing Lady Geist up higher is that I don't feel like I'm doing as much skill expression on Geist as I would some of the higher characters in like A and S tier. And so because of that, Geist has to go B tier because it's not as fun for me. And also the nuking just isn't there. I don't feel like I'm nuking crazy on Geist unless I'm building grenades. You guys could correct me in the comments. You know, this is what we do this for. You know, I'm not one of those people that's going to be stuck up my own ass about it. But yeah. Next, you got Holiday. Holiday. Insane movement, you know, insane one-shot potential. The crack shot's cool. You know, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, when I made this list, it's like, oh, well, everyone above Holiday is more fun than Holiday to me. I don't have as much fun. Maybe it's a skill issue, you know, but also just the impending doom that I know Holiday is going to get absolutely neutered because people who play good Holidays are just absolutely broken. Holiday has great movement, you know, great nuking potential, but you got to build for it. Crack shot's a little dependent on things, but if you have good aim, it's fun. I guess the only thing that stops it from being higher is the revolver, you know, and also the lasso's cool, but again, you got to have a team that's competent enough to really work with the lasso. The 1v11 potential, I don't think is there as much as the other characters, but hey, I mean, I'm not one to judge. And note that isolates one person could be fucking hilarious. And so, yeah, I think that Holiday deserves to be here. By the way, B tier and up, like, these characters can be fun. And if you think they're fun, I'm not going to stop you from playing them, you know? But yeah, if you want to give Holiday a shot, go for it. That's another one where I think you could have her higher. All right, this one's going to piss a lot of people off. In the B tier, right after Holiday, we got Doorman. Okay, I need to make this very clear. Doorman has maybe the coolest ability in the game in his doors. They work like portals and stuff. I think that's maybe the coolest thing in the whole game. You know, his ult is pretty unique in the sense that it takes you out of the battle and puts you in this like pocket dimension. You got to escape, whatever. I don't find Doorman to be all that fun. With that said, I understand that he has a massive cult following. You know, I feel like Doorman is more cheese than it is like actual skill expression. You know, it's like, oh, well, let me set up this door at the base and then set it up at the walker, pretend to go AFK, someone runs in and I cart them into the base. The cart and the bell, they don't seem that fun. I mean, the bell does a little bit of rage baiting, which is cool. But outside of that, like, the door's cool. But I don't know, it just feels really finicky. And I don't feel like just because you have one really cool ability doesn't mean you're like a fun character. And really, Gunman, I think, is extremely boring because all it is just carting people into a wall and shooting them to death. Oh my god, that is so much outplaying going on here. There are some cheeky door maneuvers that you could do that are pretty cool, but really, I don't think it's like that insane compared to some other things. I think Doorman is the most overrated fun hero in Deadlock. Whenever I hear people talk about, oh my god, Doorman, like Doorman's the most fun hero in the game with the highest skill ceiling and all this outplay potential. Yeah, I guess it exists to some extent, but really like your ult is just a Mow and Crow ult, but you can escape. You know, I think that, and you can counterspell it too, which is just ridiculous. I don't know. I feel like Doorman is just one of those characters where I don't find Doorman fun, but a lot of people do. And again, this is why this video is my opinion, and I'm going to stick with my guns here. I don't find Doorman to be all that fun, and I find every hero that I'm going to start talking about after to be more fun. Except for Infernus, because I had this one above on the list, but honestly, I'll put Infernus here. I think Infernus isn't as fun as the other two, but, I think that the reason I had him so high was, the burn effect is really cool. I like Afterburn. I think the ult has insane outplay potential. One of my favorite memories was back when they had the OG Rejuve. I would ult. Right as everyone was about to get it, everyone got stunned and I got the mid buff because nobody knew to buy counterspell or anything like that to stop me. That's one of my favorite memories. And this was back when it was only one punch too. So I clutched up for my team. That felt really nice. But I mean, yeah, I think that other than that, he's a gun hero ultimately with that Spirit Burn add-on. His running is really cool, I guess. He can outpace anybody and leave a little trail of shit. If you build lifesteal, it's kind of funny. But yeah, I think Infernus belongs here. Doorman, I guess. There's one more character I'd like to talk about. That's Kelvin. And I have Kelvin above Doorman. I like Kelvin. I like the idea of, I like his little ice path. I think it's one of the most fun things in the game. Just going from base to base. His grenades can heal. He's got a dome. He's got the ice beam, which is a lane bully. Kelvin's fucking busted, by the way, just so you guys know. Nerf the shit out of Kelvin. Neuter him, but, he's fun. I like doing Arcane Surge, dash jump into an ice path and just roaming. I don't know. I feel like Kelvin is kind of fun. I was shitting on him for the longest time, and then I gave him a shot, and I was like, wow, I actually like Kelvin. I think he's more fun than Doorman, so I'll put him here. And that wraps up B tier. Next up, we got A tier, which are the fun characters, in my opinion. And we got McGinnis, which, I know, McGinnis, really? The slow bitch who's got turrets and shit? Guys, turret McGinnis gets people so fucking mad. And your spirit builds into the healing too, so you can also just be an insane medic if you want to. Healing tempo McGinnis that builds high spirit. I don't know what it is. Your teammates start complimenting you and shit. It's a fun support build, and the turrets do a shit ton of damage, and your ult does a lot of damage too. You guys got to give it a shot. Like, don't knock it till you try it. I think that McGinnis is actually worthy of the A tier as far as fun. Okay, I did play Engineer a lot as a kid. Whenever I played Team Fortress 2, I did play a lot of Engineers, so maybe that's my bias coming out. But seriously, you should give McGinnis a shot. Another one that's going to piss people off, I'm sure, Calico belongs here. Ava, the ult. There's a lot of outplay potential with Calico. It's a one-shot spirit hero. If you really get down to it. Some people build melee, which is just so trashy. But you could do it, and the bombs are fun to an extent. The only thing I'd say about Calico is, like, I need to give her more chances. I need to try her out more, and maybe she'll even go S tier. But some people will swear that Calico is fun, because it's like an assassin build. And I can agree with that to an extent, but once again, it's just here because all the other characters I find to actually be ridiculously fun. Everyone here is ridiculously fun. Speaking of, next up we got my GOAT, Sinclair. Again, Sinclair has, I think, the most outplay potential in the game. You've got like the Zed ninja teleport thing going on with him. You've got the bunnies, which just deactivate everything. Your vexing bolts can nuke somebody if you want it to. Your ult is literally stealing anybody else's ult with half the cooldown. Sinclair has the most outplay potential in the game. I don't know if he can 1v11 the same way as the other characters. McGinnis, by the way, can 1v11, which ridiculous. Calico can too. I've had some games where Calico just absolutely steamrolls and carries the whole team. And the movement's insane on Calico too. Maybe I should have Calico higher, but Sinclair doesn't have the same 1v11 potential, but does have literally everything else. Like, if I pull up the list here, like, you can do multiple builds. Like, there's a melee Sinclair that actually works, and it nukes, and there's outplay potential. I don't know about always. Yeah, there's always it can always be viable if you want to do like a support Sinclair. And I think Sinclair's the hardest character in the game, with the exception of one guy who we'll talk about later. But you probably know who it is if you play any amount of Deadlock. But yeah, Sinclair, A tier. Easily. Next up, we got Mo and Krill. Guys, Mo and Krill has the movement. Mo and Krill has the health. He has the lifesteal. He has the sustain, the outplay potential. The ability to just bully one individual with his ult. That also gives you health stacks. Guys, he's so much fun. You need to try out Mo and Krill sometime. And yes, I think he's more fun than all these people. Does he have the same 1v11 potential as the other characters? I'd say so. Because he gets so tanky. And you can also build Muhammad and Kareem, which is just a magic carpet build. And if you put cheat death on that, you're never going to die. I've had some games against that, and it's really annoying, but I can imagine it's hilariously fun. I don't find Mo and Krill to be, I find it to be quite fun. And he can actually be crazily fast. If you build Fleetfoot and Veilwalker, and he does a little burrow with like the maxed out burrow, he goes ridiculously fast. You put some Torment Pulse on that, duration, transcendent cooldown, because that also affects your Torment Pulse. And dude, you're literally doing like and Scourge, you're doing 1,000 damage on burrow. It's ridiculous. So yeah, Mo and Krill, I think he's an easy lock for A tier. This one's gonna piss some people off. I got Pocket. I think Pocket is, again, like the other characters, where he has the sauce to be the most fun character in the game. Except I totally see what everyone's saying. I just don't have the utility or the skills necessary to really get him to be good. Plus, I think that he's sort of being pigeonholed into a couple of builds, even though he could be so much more, like Glock it. But really, people build like Affliction Pocket. He runs in, afflicts, and runs out, whatever. You're doing good for your team. That's cool and all. I feel like that's what people are making Pocket do, but he could be so much more. And I think that if you really experiment with Pocket, he has a lot of outplay potential. He does have several builds. He nukes the shit out of people, and his ult just wins team fights. He's always viable, and I think he's one of the harder characters in the game. So yeah, he's an easy lock for A tier, almost S. But the problem is, I wanted to have the tiers sort of evenly distributed. So he's not going to be an S tier because of some other people. Finally, wrap up A tier, we got Abrams. Yeah, Abrams. Oh, but isn't he like the easiest character in the game? To an extent, yes. However, a good melee Abrams. All you do is shoulder charge people into a wall, you heavy melee them, and oh my god, the amount of health you take away from them. It feels so good. You could be like 10k souls down, but you get a nice little shoulder charge into a heavy melee, and you're taking out half their health, and you build life strike, so you... Oh my gosh. I'm creaming in my pants. I'm having visuals of games I've played as Abrams where like I'm down or even up just by a bit and just destroying people off a shoulder charge. And it's ridiculous. I think that he has the most like oomph out of any character, if you know what I'm talking about, with the oomph. Yeah, easily the most oomph in the game. I'm going on about Abrams. He's just awesome. All right. I don't think that, like, unlike Billy, he has the guaranteed heavy, and it just feels better when you hit something on like that on Abrams compared to anybody else. Who can agree with me? All the Abrams maids in the comments got to let me know what the fuck is up. And yeah, that leaves these guys in S tier, which I don't think is much of a surprise. Starting off, we got Yamato. I think Yamato has insane outplay potential, can hypercarry, and has, some nice shit. That's some nice little zing to it, There's some swagger whenever you're playing a little bit of the Yamato. There is the 1v11 potential. I've had games where everyone's throwing, and then Yamato is just like, you know what, I'm going to change the outcome of this game, presses forward, wins the whole fucking team fight, and wins the game. Yamato can be insane. So that's why Yamato's there. Next up, we got Shiv. Same sort of deal with Shiv. I've seen so many clips of Shivs just like popping Infuser, then like dashing through whole team fights and 1v6ing, or at least lasting long enough to survive everything. He also just has like an ult that if you're below a certain percentage of health, he insta-kills and he gets it back. Guys, that is just one shot right there. That is a definition of one shot. If you're a Mo and Crow with 1,000 health and you're like, oh, I'm good. Shiv just comes in, presses forward, and you're dead. It's like, what the fuck happened here? Shiv, and he's got movement shit too. Gosh, Shiv is awesome. I like to build daggers though, just like get the proc the bleeding and see what happens. I think it's the least fun build on Shiv, and it's still awesome. Next up, we got Bebop. I think Bebop, in theory, could be the most fun hero in the game, but so many people know to buy Counterspell or Debuff Remover or Spirit Resistance. Bomb Bop used to be my favorite build. I get like 100 stacks because that's how initiate lobbies go. And you just nuke everybody, and people start going, oh my god, this Bebop's broken. We need to nerf Bebop. Guys, the hook, bomb, punch combo is the easiest one. It feels so good when you land it. Oh, and getting a nice hook, that serotonin rush. Oh, there's nothing better than it on Bebop. Now, some people go, well, actually, Gun Bop is the meta. And you know what you tell those people? That this game is in closed alpha, and that you need to just enjoy it for what it is, which is a game. And you don't play games to win, you play games to have fun. Fucking losers. Anywho, next up we got Mina. Mina has the most movement potential, I think, with the Umbrella and the Sanguine Retreat. The cooldown on it's ridiculous. Mina's absolutely broken. Love Bites procs for so much damage. The whole Rake can like lifesteal like crazy too. And her ult just is on like no cooldown ever, and it has the potential to just silence people and win fights. Kills almost anyone. It's like what people were saying about the Haze win button, except it actually applies here. Yeah, Mina is so much fun. And I was a big Mina hater. I still am, because, it makes it. Mina's in every fucking game, and I'm always against a Mina, and the Mina's always so good. But when they're on my team, it's like whatever, And they just 1v11. This character has so much 1v11 potential. I think maybe the most in this entire tier list here. Save for like Wraith, Seven, and Haze, and Infernus. I think Mina has the most carry potential. Which leaves me with these two, which if you've seen my channel, you're probably not surprised. First, we got Lash. Lash, the whole thing that got me into this game actually was watching a Chasm video, and I think some people who've been Deadlock for long enough know what I'm talking about, where he's like, this is how the #1 ranked Lash plays Deadlock. His movement was ridiculous. You go from the top ropes and you slam down and deal like 1 billion damage. Your ult has the potential to turn fights around, especially when they're in your Patreon and you go, all right, I got 6 of them. Let me throw them into my base and just wipe everyone off the face of the earth. You can do that into walkers and stuff like that, which is insane if you land it right. Building full Spirit Lash too. Highly recommend it. If you guys have never played Deadlock before and want to pick up a hero, I'd say try Lash out and realize how much fun he is. His grapple just takes you high up in the air and you slam down. It's like a peregrine falcon in a way, the way that falcons hunt. That's how I feel whenever I play Lash. And then finally, I got Viscous. I think that this comes at no surprise. I made a video about Viscous, which I wasn't even playing a fun Viscous build, but Viscous has the potential to be so much fun. He's got every build in the game, I think. You can build gun. You can build, like, low main Viscous isn't even like a gun or spirit build, but you can build around punch. You can build a melee Viscous. You can build a ball Viscous, like an ult Viscous. You can build a high spirit damage Viscous. You can build support Viscous with his double cubes. There's so much you can do with Viscous that a lot of people are really starting to catch on to, oh my god, this guy's actually kind of broken. In a way, he can mold to whatever you need to mold him to if you don't want to stick to a particular build. If you see your team comp and go, wow, I need to adjust accordingly, you can adjust accordingly. Viscous can fit everything. He can be a gun carry. He can be a spirit carry. He can be, a ball rolling around the map. He can be a support. He could be a fucking melee character if you want him to. He has so much builds. Not to mention his movement. I think he has the best movement in the game as well with his puddle punches. And there's a whole community that's trying to find new Viscous techs with his puddle punch and his cube where you can preserve momentum. Go watch any Arctorox video and just understand how ridiculous the movement can get. He's insane. The ball too, don't even mention the fact that he has the fastest earn run outside of anyone with insane holiday movement or doorman movement is Viscous. Also, the Viscous community is like the most cult-like one in the entire game because people who play Viscous one-trick Viscous, and you see why whenever you start playing Viscous, like, wow, this guy has so much that he can do in his kit. It's also the most skill expressive. I think he's the hardest character in the game, harder than Sinclair, harder than Doorman, harder than anybody. Because he has such an insane skill ceiling that I don't think anyone's actually mastered Viscous yet. And this game, he's been out for over a year, and we still have just scratched the surface as to what we can do with Viscous. I think he's actually insane. And yeah, that is my tier list. As far as things I'd actually like change right now, just looking at it, I don't think I would. But yeah, as far maybe Pocket goes higher, maybe Doorman and Holiday go up more, and Furnace can go down a little bit. Calico can go up. McGinnis might need to go down. But really, I mean, this is based off my own opinion. Let me know what you guys think. I think that I kind of cooked here. I try to keep it also evenly distributed. Unfortunately, there's 32 heroes in the game, so I had to give 2 tiers some extra love. I gave it to B and D tier. Maybe I could make an extra tier called Most Fun Hero, put Viscous in there. But really, this is it. Like, S tier characters, I think, are always fun, no matter the circumstance. I think A tier characters, they're fun, but can be dependent on certain things, like getting online or activated enough, or not buying counter items, or, trying out other builds. Again, I think the same thing applies to B tier characters, except when it doesn't go your way, shit can't hit the fan and it's not as fun, or you could start getting into a syndrome wherever you're not just having as much fun with it. C tier characters, again, very dependent on things, but they're fun-ish, but I feel like the success rate of having fun games compared to just carrying is like not there. And then D tier, I might have to move up Grey Talon and maybe Mirage, but other than that, I think these are just gun characters, and you only play these characters to win games, not to have fun. And that's my tier list, yeah. So let me know what you guys think about it. Please leave a dislike if you dislike it. Leave a like if you like it. And tell me in the comments what makes these characters fun to you. I mean, obviously, some people are like, well, I actually love Doorman. That's awesome. Tell me why, and tell me what I should do with these characters. I don't just make this video to get my opinion out and to let all the newbies go, well, I'm a voice of reason. I'm not a voice of reason. In fact, I think I'm the last thing from a voice of reason. Go watch Deathy or even Metro if you want a voice of reason. This is just my opinion. And if I can make any of these characters in the lower tiers more fun, let me know. And with that, I've been Cad. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!